Jimin. So, Jimin, you may begin whenever you are ready.
Hi, can you hear me well?
Yes.
All right. Good day to everyone. I am Jimin So, and I'm a Brighton student who currently studies in Oakville, Canada. I joined this competition to represent South Korea, and I would like to thank the judges again for giving me another chance to speak about my lens about the currently most issued topics, which is climate change. While I have talked about how different perspectives have all affected climate change, today I wanted to talk about something different, a bit modern, actually. I wanted to talk about the two most recent issues, which are COVID-19 and climate change, and how these two correlate and affect each other and also affect other countries. Lastly, I would like to forecast about how humanity will respond to these problems using money. COVID-19 has been going on for about 3 years, and the pandemic and climate change have both affected one another. The pandemic changed the environment around the world, and the climate change altered our health and exposure to viruses. And even before COVID-19, we have faced huge consequences. Harvard University has stated that people who live in places with poor air quality are more likely to die from COVID-19, no matter how good or bad the healthcare was. And they also said that the more exposure to air pollution, the increased hospitalization of viruses. With environments filled with dust and air pollutants like carbon dioxide or nitrogen dioxide, it can trigger respiratory diseases, illnesses like asthma. But that doesn't mean that the people have done nothing but harm. Ever since lockdown started, people had really no choice but to stop advancing and destroying the environment like before. It was documented that there was a 20% decrease in air pollution in Canada and a 30% decrease in the nitrogen dioxide in the US. However, like previously mentioned, the ultimate threshold of everything in climate change is money. I would like to recall a specific part of my drawing, which is like this part, the last part. And I put money in like the middle to show that humans are blinded by greediness, and we refuse to acknowledge that we are slowly destroying ourselves too. It's not that we don't have enough money. We have more than enough, actually, for everyone to benefit from. But whether we change positively or negatively all depends on money. And we are on the crossroads of whether we're going to destroy or save the Earth. There is a term called the bystander effect in psychology. It is when a crowd of people don't do anything in a situation or a problem like this, and think someone will take action and take responsibility for the consequences. We are all currently bystanders of climate change. We know that the situation is worsening, but we don't really do anything about it. We still let the trees cut down, and we let the air and water pollution get even more worse by the minute. And we also just let animals go extinct because of various climate change related problems. I want to use this moment to inform about the harms and consequences of climate change. Sadly, based on our past choices that we have made, it is most likely that we're going to repeat these choices even after the pandemic. NASA has reported that within the next few decades, the global temperature will go up about 1.5 degrees, and there will be extreme droughts, natural disasters, and reduced area of arable land, which leads to starvation. We would have to use the power of money to make things better. Again, we're at the crossroads of choosing our fate. Chances of making things better is all dependent on people's determination. While there are environmentalists and leaders that speak up for this issue, there are also bad companies and leaders that dismiss their claims. So following one of these sides really depends on us. Oh no, although many people have given warnings, human greed is just inevitable. Unless we change now, we're going to keep making bad decisions, and that will only benefit us shortly. And we're going to face terrible consequences if we take the expected role of future climate-related problems. So I want to ask this easy question once more again. Are we going to choose money to help build more anthropogenic activities, or are we going to use money to help nature restore itself? Again, I was Jimin So, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Jimin. For the first question, I would ask Professor Katharine Hayhoe.
Thank you. I was very interested by the way that you brought up COVID and climate change because they are related in terms of the impacts. I have a question about the solutions. What do you think we have learned from COVID that could help us to tackle climate change?
We have learned that climate change did affect COVID-19 a lot, because like countries that have like a lot of air pollution, like I mentioned, the air pollutants have like affected people's like health in general, and so the person's availability to like resist the virus like kind of decreased. So we kind of like learned it the hard way that we really have to like work on solving climate change. So we won't like, when there's like another pandemic that when there's like another situation like this, we have to make sure that air pollution, or just like pollution in general, we have to like solve it, or like make it like reduce the pollution. So
Yes, so that helps, that will help us cope with pandemics in the future. But so that goes from climate change to pandemics. But what about from COVID to climate change? Did we learn anything that could help us fix climate change from COVID?
Like during the pandemic, we also learned that we can, when people like actually don't like work on companies, and then when we like don't actually be included in like anthropogenic activities, climate change can actually go better. Like we have, like statistics have shown that we have reduced a lot of carbon dioxide in the past few years. So like through the pandemic, we learned that when we actually like stop and when we actually try to solve the problems, it actually works, that we still have hope left. So
Excellent, thank you.
Great. And for the second question, Professor Ruth Hayhoe.
Thank you so much, Jimin. I thought your cartoons were delightful, very, very creative. And I think your focus on money is really important. And how do we bring about a shift? I heard the head of the Ford Foundation on PBS a couple of nights ago talking about giving has to be shifted to social justice. So what kind of actions can we take so that more resources are turned towards dealing with climate change?
there are actually a lot of ways that we can do like campaigns or like social medias. We can just like can you like explain a bit further, like explain your question a bit further?
I guess I just want to know what level of actors can make a difference in terms of the resources needed to be oriented towards climate change issues.
I guess like what I just said, like I guess social medias, and then maybe like donations to like the WHO or just like the World Health Organization. Yeah. I think like advertising that we actually really have to help, and then we have to like there's still like hope left, and then and like changing climate change. I guess like that's going to make a lot of people follow and then like lean towards like helping climate change. Yeah, I guess that's.
Thank you. I think your efforts are already in that right direction with your wonderful cartoons and communication. Thank you.